everybody, it's Gloria from GGTheCrochetQueen. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to recreate this vintage snood. I did this on my channel today as a crochet along, and I want to thank Darcia for trying to do it with me. And this pattern is from the Vintage Crochet channel. I think that's the name of it, but I'll have the link in the description box if you want to go to her channel and see how she does it. This can be worked up in a couple of hours. I think it probably took about 3 hours. I am not the fastest crocheter, but if you are a fast crocheter, you can have this done really fast. So let me see. We're going to use this big twist. This is worsted weight yarn. It's a number 4, and the color is hot pink. I figured I'd do the pink one. I have lots of ones, as you saw in the preview of all the ones that I've already done. You'll also need a pair of scissors, of course, a yarn needle, a measuring tape, and at least 2 stitch markers. So get your materials together and let's get started. Oh, and I forgot the main thing you need is a J-hook, a 6.0 millimeter J-hook. How could I forget that? We're crocheting. So you want to start with a slip knot, however you do your slip knot. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch to join in your first chain to make a ring. Now you want to do a chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch into your ring. Chain 5 again, slip stitch to join, slip stitch into the ring, and chain 5 again. Slip stitch into the ring, chain 5, slip stitch into the ring. So you want to have 7 loops. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will come back when I have my 7 loops. I have my 7 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you want to chain 2 and then do a double crochet into the base of your first chain 5. So a double crochet right there. And that chain 2 counts as a loop. So that equals a total of 8. So now you want to do a chain 5. And do a slip stitch into the next loop. Chain 5. Slip stitch into the next loop. And you want to repeat that around. And you will end again with a chain 2 and a double crochet on top of your double crochet. So I'll meet you at the end of this round. I am on my last loop, so I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then do a double crochet on top of that previous double crochet. Now I'm going to put a stitch marker at that double crochet, and you want to do a slip stitch in that space. You chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another slip stitch in that space. Chain 5 and do a slip stitch in the next loop. Chain 5 and do a slip stitch in the same loop. So this is an increase round. Chain 5, slip stitch into the next loop, chain 5, and slip stitch in that same loop. And that is your repeat around. So again, you want to chain 5, slip stitch into the next loop, chain 5, and slip stitch into the same loop. So I will meet you at the end when you're on your last loop. And this increase, you should end up with 16 loops, and that includes the chain 2. Okay, I am at my last loop. So I just did my last slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 2 and do a double crochet where that stitch marker is, which is the previous double crochet. And I'm going to place my stitch marker back. And let's do a count, make sure, because if your count is off, your snood will be off. So got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and your chain 2 makes 16. So this next row, we're going to do a chain of 5, slip stitch into the next loop, chain 5, and slip stitch into the next loop, and that is your repeat around. I will meet you at the end of your last loop, and you still should have 16. Your chain 2 will count as your 16th loop. Okay, I just slip stitched into my last loop, and I'm going to chain 2 and double crochet on top of the double crochet. And you should still have a total of 16 loops, including your chain 2. And this is what it looks like so far. Kind of looks like a snowflake. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Chain 2 makes 16. Now we're going to do another increase round. So we're going from 16 to 32. So you want to do a slip stitch into that space, chain 5, and slip stitch into the space again, chain 5, slip stitch into your next loop, chain 5, and slip stitch into the loop again. And that is your repeat around. Again, chain 5, slip stitch into your next loop, chain 5 again, and slip stitch into the same loop. So continue that, and I will meet you at the end when you are at your last loop. I just finished my last slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 2 and then do a double crochet at the top of the double crochet. So now you should have 32 loops, including the chain 2. So because this is the base of the growth of the snood. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, chain 2 makes 32. And if you look at your loops, they should, each one, every other one should look alike. So this looks like this looks like this. So you have a high loop and a low loop, every other loop. That way you know, you have some idea, like if you missed one or added one, because every other one is high, low, high, low. That's the way I see it. So you have a peak, and then you have a curve, a peak and a curve. That's the way I see it. That way it gives you an idea if you like missed something on your loops. So now we're going to do the next 9 rounds. No more increasing. You're just going to be doing chain 5s and slip stitching into in each loop. And then when you get around to the end, you do a chain 2 and double crochet in the double crochet. So that is for the next 9 rounds. And I leave this stitch marker here. And when I get back around to the other side, I put in a new stitch marker. And that will be the stitch marker that I'll move so that I can count from that stitch marker to keep track of how many rounds I have made, so I don't forget or don't add more than I need to. So I will meet you at the end of this round. Again, it's chain 5, slip stitch into the loop, chain 5, and slip stitch into the next loop. No more increasing. And each round you should still have a total of 32 loops, including your chain 2. So I'll meet you when I get back around to the stitch marker. I finished my last slip stitch. I'm going to chain 2 and do a double crochet on top of the double crochet, And I'm going to put this stitch marker back in, and this stitch marker is the start of the 9 rounds. So that is round 1. We have 8 more rounds to go of just chain 5s and slip stitching into each loop, and at the end do chain 2 and a double crochet on top of the double crochet. So that purple stitch marker is the one that I will move up so I can keep count of my rounds. So you have 8 more rounds to do of the chain 5 and slip stitch into your loops, and the last one you do a chain 2 and a double crochet on top of the double crochet. I will meet you at the end of round, that should be round 14, and we will go on from there. And this is what it looks like. So it's going to get ruffly and get much wider as you go around. Okay, so this is how big it is, and this was my last round. Did my slip stitch, chain 2, and do a double crochet. So that's what it looks like right now. Pretty big. So now, after all of the rounds are done, we are now on round 15. So we're going to do a single crochet into the same loop right here. Do a single crochet, chain 2, and in the next loop do another single crochet, chain 2, next loop single crochet, chain 2, and you want to repeat that all the way around, and it'll start to bring this big round circle in. So let me put my stitch marker in my first single crochet, so we'll know where to stop. So again, you just want to do single crochet in the loop, chain 2, and single crochet in the next loop. So repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. I am at the end. I've done my chain 2, and you're going to do a single crochet in the top of the single crochet, and put your stitch marker back there. So the next round you will do and let me show you how it's come in. So now it's got a little roundness to it. It's not flat, it's got a curve to it now. So now you want to do a chain 1 and single crochet in the next single crochet. Make sure it's okay. Yes, round 16 is chain 1, single crochet in the next single crochet, and repeat that around. Chain 1, single crochet in the next single crochet, and you want to do this for a total of 4 rounds. So again, you want to chain 1 and single crochet into the next single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the next single crochet, chain 1, and continue to repeat. And you want to do this for a total of 4 rounds. So I will meet you at the end of your 4th round, and make sure you take out the stitch marker and put it back in so you can keep track of your rounds. So I'll see you at the end of the 4th round of single crochets, chain 1. Okay, so I am at the end and did my last, this is my chain 1 and my last single crochet, and now I can fasten off. So that is the snood. Take out that, and I'm gonna sew in these tails. I'm gonna sew this one in. The other one I will worry about later, because I want this tail to be sewed in so that we can make the bow and then attach it, and then sew in that last tail, and your snood will be finished. So you can just weave in your ends. I try to weave them in as best I can so that they don't pop back out. And you can go back and forth. Get them in. And I always have an extra long tail. I see some people with short tails, but I like long tails. That way I can make sure I can get it all in. Okay, now I'll worry about the other one later. But this is pretty much what you have. I love this. I think that is called a trellis stitch. So now we're going to set this aside and make the little bow for it. It's very simple. Again, you want to start with a slip knot, chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you want to single crochet into the second chain from the hook, chain 1, skip a chain, single crochet in the next, chain 1, skip a chain, single crochet into the next, chain 1, and single crochet into the last chain. Chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into the first single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the next, chain 1, single crochet into the next, chain 1, and single crochet into your last single crochet. And you want to repeat this pattern until it is 6 inches long. So continue this pattern until you have a length of 6 inches, and I will meet you when I have my pattern at my piece at 6 inches. Okay, it is 6 inches. So we can fasten off from that. And weave in these tails so that we can cinch this up and make it into a bow. I should have gotten a needle with a bigger eye, but I can make it work. That's enough of that weaving in. And you know, you can fast forward past the weaving in. No need to just watch that. But I know as a new crocheter, I was always fixated on how people weaved in their ends. Ooh, I shook that. And a lot of people do it different ways. So the way I do it may not be the way the next person does it. It's always good to have a knowledge about a lot of different ways to do things in crochet. That's why I watch a lot of different channels. I always can pick up some tricks of the trade. Now I'm gonna cut a long tail and put it on the yarn needle. I have yarn needles, darning needles. It's a needle for yarn. And I fold it in half, and then I just I weave it in and out. Just in and out, in and out. And I tie it to cinch it up. Into a bow, like so. And then you get a bow. Okay, so I did a double knot, and I'm turning it over to make another knot. Give it some extra security. Keep that bow shape. So there it is, the little bow. So now I take my snood, and where I fastened off is here. And we're going to put the bow right there. Okay, now it's time to sew on the bow. You can just tack it down and have both sides loose, or you can tack it down and tack down both sides. So I am going to probably tack down both sides because I don't like things flapping around. And I'll do it like that way, kind of. But you can do your bow any kind of way you want to. I want it to be kind of like that. At least you'll be able to see that there's a bow there. Since it's monochromatic, sometimes it's hard to see. But if you have it kind of sideways, then you can see the bow because it'll be right on the head too. And I'll do this side. Hope I'm not going off camera, but I feel like I have. Sewing is not my favorite thing to do, but I must soldier on. Maybe that way, and tack it down. Then go back up and tack the side down. And again, you know, you can fast forward past my mumbo jumbo. But as I said, do the bow whatever way you want it to be. And I like the bow to be on the side. Mostly I think it looks cute on the side instead of just in the front. Like when I used to have my hair relaxed, I always had a side part. Okay, last little tack down on this side. And I'll sew in that tail, and then I'll put it on my mannequin Bonita's head and show you what it looks like. This is the finished snood on my mannequin, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment and let me know if you're going to make one and what color. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like, and comment. And don't forget to hit that bell so that you will always be notified. Stay safe. Keep crocheting. Bye-bye.